Welcome to Hall Talk. My name is Schreibman. I'll be joined by my panelists shortly. With conference play just beginning, fall sports is really starting to heat up. Volleyball has won back-to-back matches against Providence and Georgetown this past week. Our panelists will recap and predict this upcoming weekend as the team hits the road. Moving from Walsh Gym to the pitch, men's soccer just picked up a huge win against ranked Creighton. We'll recap and preview the upcoming game as the soccer team is tied for 6th in the conference standings. Stay tuned. This is Hall Talk. Welcome back to the show. We have a lot to get to with fall sports heating up. Let me introduce my panel for the evening. Matt, Ambrose, JP, Proulx, how are you guys doing?
Thanks for having me.
Pretty good.
And we're going to jump right into it. We're going to start with volleyball, who have won back-to-back matches this past week against Providence and Georgetown. What has been the key for the success lately?
It's really been spreading out the offensive attack. Beginning of the year, it was mostly Abby Thielen really on the offense, and then also graduate students, Sheree Barnes. But it's been more of the presence of Dominique Mason and Caitlin Koska as of late. Dominique Mason, 2 double-doubles last weekend against Creighton and Providence. She's really stepped up on the offensive side, and it's resulted in a bunch of wins here for this volleyball team as of late.
JP, your take?
I'm going to absolutely agree with him. It's been spread out. Instead of it's just being Thielen and Coffey, it's now Dominique Mason, Koska you just brought up. So it's nice seeing that they spread it out. They're communicating more from earlier in the season, so the wins will keep racking up if they keep playing the way they are.
Abby Thielen has been very hot as of late, though. 18 kills against Georgetown. Dominique Mason had 14 kills. But let's just ask you real quick about Abby Thielen. What does her leadership bring this team in? This season has been impressive.
It's good to have someone for this squad that's really sustained success throughout her time here at Seton Hall. I mean, you mentioned the offense that this team has had as of late. Thielen against Providence over the weekend, she had 10 kills in that game. She was one of 2 Pirates with double-digit kills along with Mason. So to have that consistent offense that she's really brought to the table all season long, she has been the leader. She may not get the game high in kills every time, but she's the one on the offensive attack for this Pirates that has been the constant force all season long.
And to piggyback off that, she's just a beast. We're going to be real. She hits the ball harder than everyone else. And she hits it where they're not. So we're going to be easy here. She's amazing. Go her.
This past weekend against Providence, Coach Allison Yaeger picked up her 100th career victory, a milestone she'll talk about shortly in the postgame coming up. Just her overall impact for this program has been off the charts. She's really brought winning to this program and passion, everything else. This season, it's been their 500, but talk about the overall impact she's brought to this program.
I think you really saw it last year. She went into last year with a very, very young team. And a team that was picked 7th in the conference going into the year, a lot of sophomores on that team, Abby Thielen, Sophia Coffey, the list goes on and on and on. See how those players have developed over the years, and now she coached them to 4th in the Big East and got them into the Big East tournament. So I think that was one of her best coaching jobs she's really had in a long time. She hasn't had the weapons at her disposal like she did when Amanda Hansen was here a couple years ago. But nonetheless, she really knows how to motivate and channel good, strong play out of her players. She did it last year. They struggled a bit this year, but nonetheless a great milestone for her.
This team on the rise. JP, just talk about a little bit what she's brought this season, especially as of late.
Well, this season she's really picked up her coaching ability, everything, because they lost a lot of big leaders from last year's team, especially Tessa Fournier being gone. I didn't know how this team was going to react with losing their star libero. So the fact that they've still played some pretty good volleyball, it shows how good of a coach she actually is.
And speaking of Coach Allison Yaeger, I had a chance to catch up with her after the Providence game. Brian Heddle had a chance to catch up with Dominique Mason, who's been on a tear of late. So let's see what they had to say.
Brian Heddle here with Dominique Mason after a huge win against Providence. How'd you feel about your performance today?
I think I did pretty well. We got the win, so I guess it was good enough.
Yeah. Coming off your loss against Creighton, how does it feel to finally get another win here?
It feels great. You know, we haven't been playing at home that much, so we need to take advantage of it when we get the home advantage opportunity. So it felt really good getting the W at home.
How do you feel about going into your game on Wednesday against Georgetown?
Oh, well, I don't know. We just got to come in and work, you know, and focus on us and our side. You know, we can't really control what Georgetown's going to do, but we can control how we react to it. And
yeah. Is there anything that you think the team needs to work on before the game Wednesday?
Just staying confident and staying focused. Sometimes, you know, sets we get a little so we just need to stay focused and confident in ourselves.
Hi, Dylan Schreibman here after Seton Hall picks up a victory against Providence here tonight to get their Big East record back to 2-2. Here with Coach Allison Yaeger. Coach, your keys to your 100th coaching victory.
Oh my God, it's a long time in the making. You know, my keys is my recruiting and my girls and my assistant coach. I just told them in the locker room that I couldn't imagine doing this without them. It's because of them. I do what I love to do every single day with the people that I love to do it with, and I owe it all to them and my assistant as well.
Take me back to the first set. After it's close, I'll set a big 9-2 run to end the set. How important was that in the victory tonight?
Yeah, it was huge. You know, we always say keep the errors low on our side and high on their side, and you know that's what Providence did. They made a lot of hitting errors towards the end, and that was really why we could close out the way we did. And
how big is this to split the weekend heading to Georgetown coming here on Wednesday?
Yeah, no, it's huge. You know what? Creighton's always a tough match, like it was last night, and after that loss, we knew we had to go 1-1 this weekend, and winning at home is always a really big deal for us. You got to get the home ones because that's the most important.
All right, thank you so much, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Coach Yaeger and Dominique Mason, for catching with us after the Providence game. Now we're going to look ahead this upcoming week. Volleyball heads to the road this weekend. They play Xavier first on Friday. They play Butler on Saturday. What are your keys to the games coming up this weekend?
Really just ride the momentum they've picked up the last couple of games. These three teams, Xavier and Butler, both under 500 in conference play so far. They sit at 2-3, and Villanova's at 3-2. So 2 of those games are on the road. A little bit of a road test to see how this Pirate squad responds, but they played well the last couple of games. They're attacking on all angles on the offensive side. They really got things rolling so far at a good time.
And JP, this is a Xavier team that has won 6 of 8 overall in the series. This is the 9th time they'll meet. What does this team need to do to get over that hump of the previous history?
Well, winning in Cincinnati probably is the #1 thing they need to do, but because they lost in Cincy last year. So what they need to do is not get overexcited to be there. They need to be calm, collected, play them like they did in Walsh last year, and they should be able to come out top against X.
Xavier, Butler, Villanova coming up this week. Start with you, Matt. Your predictions, how many matches do they take this week?
I think they should at least get one of those road victories at the very least. These are 3 teams that are in the middle of the pack of the Big East. I don't know which one exactly, but to get one road win out of this weekend would be a pretty good success. And then the home game against Villanova, you're on your home floor at Walsh Gym. You got to get that one.
JP, are you as confident for this team on the road?
Oh, I think they'll beat the Dogs. So
there you go.
So there you go. And I think they can beat the Musketeers too. So I think they can go 2-0. I'm going to be safe and say 1-1, but that win will be in Indy.
Okay, this is a Xavier team, like you mentioned, under 500. Butler 12-5 on the season, having an impressive season so far, but they are just 2-3 in conference play and have lost their last 2 games, a pair of road losses this weekend against Georgetown and Villanova. We're going to transfer from Walsh Gym now to the pitch. Men's soccer, a huge win this past weekend to end a 4-game losing streak against Creighton. It's their first win against a ranked team since October of 2014 when they beat Georgetown. How does this carry momentum for their season?
I mean, what a way. We were talking recently about how pretty much the sky was falling with this team. Yeah. They went on a 3-match win streak, and then to drop 4 in a row, they weren't really looking too great. And then to come out last weekend, really take it to Creighton, get that early goal, and to get a win against a ranked opponent for the first time in 3 years really has to lift the spirits on this team.
JP, your initial thoughts for the win against Creighton?
Well, it's nice having their #1 goaltender be out for 89 minutes.
Pretty much.
Sorry, 81 minutes. But that was nice. So hopefully if other teams could do that too, they will win every single game. But in all seriousness, it was nice seeing some goals out of Arcilla. And it was nice getting the win.
Arcilla scored his 6th goal this season. That's this past weekend against Creighton. That's 2nd in the Big East. He was also named to the Big East honor roll this past Monday. How has he led this team so impressively week to week, even though teams are scouting him?
Yeah, defenses are really clamping down on him in the midfield. Seton Hall really wasn't able to get any offense moving forward during that 4-match losing streak. Then over the weekend, Jerson Echeverry found a way to get more touches with Arcilla, and you saw more offense. Marco Neves had 3 shots. Francisco Alderete, who scored a goal in the second half, came on as a reserve and got 2 shots as well as that goal. Seton Hall outshot the Blue Jays 11-9 in that game. They really stepped up the offensive side. There's an offensive attack we really haven't seen from them in a while, and it was great to see it against a team like Creighton.
And to piggyback off that, if they can continue to hold the ball for a majority of the game like they did against Creighton, they will not be stopped. They have very good offensive weapons, especially in Arcilla, Alderete, and other ones. So if they keep it up, which I hope they do, I'm not gonna be strong on them, but as of right now, things are looking up.
And Matt, you mentioned earlier they got off to a quick start with the 9th-minute penalty kick conversion by Arcilla. This is a team that has struggled to get out of the gate this season. We saw it in non-conference play against Delaware when they were outshot bad in the beginning. We saw it against St. John's in their first conference game where they took 25 minutes, it seemed you called that game, to get into action. How will that prove for this team moving forward? How important is it to get off to that fast start, especially from your leader, Arcilla?
I mean, clearly it was huge for them. It also helped to be a man up for the whole match. But
true.
something that we've seen, a trend for this team, before this match, they've had a lot of undisciplined play, a lot of cautions against this team, a lot of reds, a lot of yellows. You don't really like to see that. I think it was really important for this team to get a lead early and get some momentum, and then in the later stages of the game, when they took that 2-0 lead, they were able to play back, relax, and they didn't have to be as aggressive, and they weren't frustrated with themselves. That's something that they really have had problems with all year long, is controlling their play, controlling their temper, really, in the later part of a game. Last week, they didn't have to do that, and it helped them.
And I guess to piggyback off that, he nailed that perfectly. But this team, they really have been frustrated all season. So hopefully this is something that they can build upon, get confidence game to game to game, and we'll see where it goes. And it'll start against the Blue Demons.
Just want to mention real quick, Pangona's also won the Big East Defensive Player of the Week for the first time in his career this season. I want to move into a thing that has been the headline all season. The goalkeeping situation for this team. You have Peyton Elder start on Saturday against Creighton, his first start of the season. He gets a blank sheet and 3 saves. You have Mumford, who's 3-1, and after a loss, we saw that goaltending change against Creighton. And you have Stephen Cashadall, who's hurt. Who should be the #1 for this team now that moving forward after the big one against Creighton?
Ride the hot hand. Why not? This is what worked earlier in the year when Elliot Munford was really making some plays for the Pirates during that 3-match win streak. Then they brought back Cashadall. They kind of struggled a bit. Munford returned for that Marquette game, but struggled a bit too. So I feel like if you got to keep Elder in goal if you're Jerson Echeverry. He got the blank sheet against the top 25 team. You got to keep him in there, ride the hot hand, see if he can build some momentum going into DePaul this weekend.
Just playing devil's advocate here, Elder in goal, they were a man up all game. What's the justification, JP, for Mumford to get in goal? I know he struggled in that Marquette game, but he still has a record of 3-1 and really has been their most consistent goaltender all season.
I think you just nailed it right there. He's been the most consistent goaltender all season. And again, to Elder's credit, though, he was a man up on it, which does mean something. So I would personally go with Munford just because he seems the most calm out there, and that's really the most important thing for a goaltender.
And we'll see moving forward which direction they go. Will it be Elder? Will it be Mumford with Cashadall hurt? And they play DePaul this upcoming Saturday. Seton Hall enters tied for 6th in league play. They're just 1 point behind the Blue Demons. Seton Hall enters with a 1-2-0 conference record. DePaul has a win, a loss, and a draw. What do they need to do to carry the momentum that they have against Creighton? Is it getting off to that fast start?
It's getting off to that fast start, and I said this during the 4-match losing streak. They weren't getting the ball to Andres Arcilla enough. He is far and away the catalyst for this Seton Hall team. They were able to do it against Creighton. They have to be able to do it against DePaul. This is a team that's right in the middle of the Big East. You said a win, a loss, and a draw on the year. Build some momentum off a big Creighton win. You have the home crowd behind you. Just take it and run with it if you can. If you're Seton Hall, they're building some wins up here. Keep it going.
This is the Seton Hall team who has struggled historically against DePaul. They're only 1-5-1 all time. They lost last year in Chicago. Arcilla did score in that game, but they took the 2-1 loss last season. JP, what's your key? If you had to name one thing to preach for Seton Hall?
One thing to preach. One thing to preach. And I'm going to say that the ball needs to be in Arcila's feet for most of the game. See what I did there? Anywho, what is very important here is they need to win this game. If they want to be in the top 6 and make the Big East tourney, they will have to win this game. If they lose it, if they draw, it's going to be close, but they need to win this game.
DePaul coming off of a 1-0 win against Villanova this past week. The Pirates coming off a huge win against Creighton to end that losing streak. What's your prediction? Does Seton Hall get the win against DePaul?
Why not? They're at home, coming off a big win. I know a lot of people don't really believe in momentum. I'm one that does. And I feel like a win against Creighton like that, finally getting your offense clicking, really lifts your spirits. Get a good week of practice in before that DePaul game. You're at home. Go out and get them. They're going to get the win this weekend.
JP, you as positive?
Sorry, I'm always a pessimist. I don't think they get it, and it's unfortunate, but I don't know if they're going to keep the tempo of the whole game. So
it has been an up-and-down season all year. We'll see moving forward if Seton Hall can get that win. They head on a road trip after that starting with Providence. So we'll see if the Pirates can come back to action and continue their momentum against Creighton against DePaul this Saturday in a conference tournament or with conference tournament implications. It's still early in conference play, but on the line. With Seton Hall just being 1 point back, we'll see also if volleyball can continue their momentum of a two-match winning streak. Matt Ambrose, JP Proulx, thanks for joining me. A big week ahead in Seton Hall sports. Make sure to stay tuned for the updates, and we'll see you next time on Hall Talk.